Happy March! Yay, another month is over, which means I'm back at university. Oh my god. But yeah, the fact that it was holidays didn't really do much for my reading because altogether I read 2 books. 2, that's not even kidding. 2 books, wow. I think I read like 11 or 12 books last month in January when I still had like exams and university, and now I had a month off uni and I didn't read anything. So in order for this video to not be like 5 seconds long, I'm also going to include my currently reading books because I am quite far into 3 books. So I haven't like read nothing, I just haven't finished many books. But the first one I did finish was Anyas Ghost by Vera Broskell. This is a graphic novel that I'd heard about a lot on BookTube just from like, the title sounded familiar, but I didn't know what it was about. And basically it's about this girl, her name's Anya. Guess what? And she's basically a sort of Russian immigrant, or her parents were Russian immigrants, so she's like 2nd generation Russian, and she feels quite like left out at school and people make fun of her, and she's not the most popular girl. She's very self-conscious, she's very body conscious as well, which I thought was an interesting touch. And then one day she basically falls into a well where she meets a ghost, and she brings the ghost home with her, and the ghost starts helping her with stuff. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a really interesting sort of plot line. I did sort of predict it about halfway through. I was like, okay, I know where this is going, at least sort of, but it did have a little twist at the end, which was fun and interesting, and I just really enjoyed this book. It's a very quick read, and it's very beautifully drawn, in my opinion. Very simple and straightforward, but still very nice. I don't know if you can see this. So I definitely recommend this if you want a quick read that's also really fun. And the only other book I finished in February was Sweet Tooth by Ian McEwan. I'm still not sure how to pronounce his name. But yeah, this book. Basically it's about this girl who gets sort of, she's a college student in a college. She has a professor that she sort of starts an affair with, and then he kind of gets her into MI5. This book is set in 1972, so during the Cold War, where espionage was still a big thing and very important. And basically the story follows her as she then sort of enters MI5 and becomes a spy through various ways. And then she's sent on this mission called Sweet Tooth, where she basically has to persuade an author to take on a scholarship, sort of. Basically they just give him a lot of money to write whatever he wants because MI5 think that his thoughts are interesting and his opinions are interesting, and they kind of want to promote that for their own personal gain. And basically it's her job to make sure that he takes such scholarship, but then she starts falling in love with him and things get a bit more complicated. And overall I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was very much more intellectual than I thought it was going to be. There were a lot of things I had no idea what was going on, because I have no idea about English politics in the 1970s. I'm like, seriously, I don't even know anything about politics nowadays. So I was like, who are these people? Also, I haven't read a lot of the authors mentioned, and the protagonist loves reading and is very literate. Like, she's literally read anything worth reading. And basically that was a bit difficult at times for me to understand, but it also sort of motivated me to read more in that way, because I think it would be fun to then have a better grasp on books like this and to just have a more general knowledge in terms of history and politics and things like that. My most sort of criticizable point, I guess, in this book is the way that the protagonist is depicted. I get that she's young, she's like in her early 20s, I think like 23, 24, something like that. I get that it has to be taken into consideration, and also I understand that these are the 1970s, so women obviously were seen as inferior still to men, but the way that, for me personally, it just really annoyed me how the protagonist acted in certain situations, how she was depicted by the author in certain situations, to basically be dumbfounded all the time. And even though she was a very intelligent girl, and that was made clear like literally all of the time, like non-stop, we were confronted with things that she knew, and like it was obvious that she was a very smart person, but she constantly put herself down, constantly thought of herself as stupid and worthless compared to her peers, and the same goes for other people. They sort of made her feel that way and looked at her that way, which I personally completely don't understand because she's very intelligent, as I said. And whenever people criticize her for something she done wrong, or even if they falsely accused her of something, she would never like resist, never sort of speak up for herself. All she'd do was just go silent and let it like rush over her and endure it, and it just drove me mad. And for the people who've read this book, I know the ending sort of puts all of that into perspective. I get that. And for you that haven't read it yet, I'm not gonna spoil anything, don't worry. I do understand that the ending sort of takes a little bit of that away and kind of makes my point a bit moot, but I just couldn't help but feel annoyed at this book the entire time I read it, and I don't think that that's something that the author wanted to achieve and should have wanted to achieve. I don't think you want to annoy your readers. I think you want to frustrate them. I think you want to make them think, and I think you want to make them question yourself, but you don't want to annoy them. So I was pretty annoyed at this book throughout reading it. It was still a nice book, a good read. I liked the ending. Sort of. If you're very Cold War savvy or history savvy and you want to give this book a go, I'd say do it. But it can be a little bit tiresome if you have no idea what's basically being discussed all of the time. So, on to the books I'm currently reading. I started 3 books in February and I'm like more than halfway through with all 3 of them. The first one is Yes Please by Amy Poehler. This is her autobiography. The reason I haven't actually finished this is not because I don't like it. I do like it. I think Amy Poehler is fantastic and hilarious and one of the funniest human beings on the planet. But I also only know her from Parks and Recreation, and a lot of her career happened in Saturday Night Live, and I've never in my life seen an episode of that. Ever. I have no idea what she's talking about half of the time, basically, as the result of that. There's a lot of anecdotes and scenes where she mentions people where like I get sort of who they are, like the position they take in her life or where she knows them from, but I have no face to the name and I have no idea of what that person does or is or thinks, and so that's a bit difficult. It kind of feels to me like reading a magazine about celebrities that you've never heard of. You just really don't care and you have no connection whatsoever, not even the sort of faint made up connection that we think we have with celebrities, and so I feel like that's sort of the situation I'm at right now, where I do definitely want to continue, but it's just a little bit like this doesn't mean anything to me, and it would definitely be interesting to people who know a lot more about her backstory and have been following her for longer than I have. My next current read is Nemesis by Philip Roth. I'm actually almost done with this. I think I have like 20 pages left. No, maybe more, maybe 50 or something like that. This book is set during the Second World War in 1944 in a New Jersey city called Newark. I'm not sure if this actually exists, but I do think it does. Basically, it's about the polio epidemics that basically haunt the city every summer. A lot of children get sick and get crippled, and a lot of them also die, and it's about Bucky, who is just in his early 20s, and he's a teacher at a school and he manages the playgrounds during the summer, and he basically has to watch how, while a lot of his students sort of suffer with this and die, and I like it so far. I think it's a bit slow going, but I do like the sort of correlation of the title and the book, because the title sort of implicates that there's a villain in the story, like a really bad person, because it's called Nemesis and you always associate villains usually with Nemesis, and so I think it's interesting that the book doesn't really have a villain and it's more just like fate and things like disease and people randomly dying from it. That is the Nemesis, basically the villain of the story, and I really enjoy it, so I do recommend it. But it's not the fastest read, it's not a page turner, but it is a very good book, and I really like Bucky as a character, and I like reading about him because he's just a really interesting person all around. So yeah, definitely check this book out if you're looking for some adult fiction. And then in complete contrast to that book, I'm also reading Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins. I haven't even hauled this book yet because I just recently received it in the mail. I got it from Book Geek Movie Freak. Thank you so much again. I won her giveaway, which was fantastic. So I got to pick a book and I picked Rebel Belle because I'd heard so many great things about it, and I'm about halfway through. I'm sure you already know a lot about this book, so let me just quickly sum it up. It's about a girl who basically is sort of the champion of her high school and her small town in the south of America. She's like not famous, but she's popular and she's nice and everybody loves her. Like, she's involved in everything, in every committee, you know, taking part in everything. And there's just one guy she really doesn't like, and he works for the school paper, and he always writes mean articles about her. And one day weird things happen and she becomes a paladin, which means now she has to protect him from the people that are trying to kill him. And you'll find out more about this, don't worry, if you read the book. But yeah, at the beginning I wasn't sure that I was going to like it. In fact, I was pretty convinced I was going to hate it, because the book starts off just basically talking about homecoming, sorry, about how the dress cost like over $1,000 and how, oh my god, I'm not wearing the right lipstick, I forgot my lipstick, can I borrow your lipstick, but it's not the right shade. Basically, that's the entire first chapter, and I was just like, murder somebody if this is how it continues. Luckily, we move on from lipstick discussions, because I probably couldn't have continued the book otherwise. I'm not going to lie, this is not the most like intellectual book at all. It doesn't have a lot of substance. It's literally like fast food for your brain. But it is standard YA, you know. It's funny at times, I guess, but I think at this point I'd give it maybe 2 stars. I will finish it because I sort of do want to see how the story develops, and I always am a fan of like romance between 2 people who previously sort of hated each other. But yeah, I don't have high expectations for the rest of this book, and I don't want to give you high expectations for this book either. Maybe, you know, if you're looking for something special, don't pick this book. But if you're like younger, or you want something that's literally really a fast read that's fun sometimes and aggravating at others, give it a go, but don't expect too much. Yeah, so that was it for my shamefully small wrap-up and quite a bit longer TBR, or no, not TBR, currently reading. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. And I'm gonna see you soon. Have a lovely week. Bye! Hi guys! So actually, to the day, a year ago, I filmed a video on book series I won't be finishing, and I found some more books that fall into this category, so I thought I'd share them with you today. And there's various reasons why I won't be finishing them. I think the underlying theme today is that I simply don't like them, or I'm just not interested in seeing any more of the story. Doesn't necessarily mean that book is bad. Most of the time it does though. So let's get started. It's gonna be so much fun.